Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever time of day you're viewing this. Welcome to today's episode of the R.A.H podcast. I am your host, Rahsaan Corbin II. It is another great day to have a good episode. And another great day to have a great guest who I got to know very well at FAMU during my 2.5, 3 years there. Samaya Foster, how you doing today?
Hi, hello everyone. Like Ross said, my name is Samaya Foster, and I'm just happy to be here.
Good, good. We're going to get started with an icebreaker before we dive into the interview, get more about you. All
Cool.
right. First off, do you have any, for context of this question, do you have any pets?
Yes, I do.
What kind of pet do you have?
He's a King Corso. His name is Rondo, and he turns one tomorrow, actually.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Happy early birthday. Happy early birthday.
His birthday's a
uh
line.
oh really?
Yeah.
Okay. Happy early birthday to
Yes, that's my baby. I love him.
you. Well, this is perfect because the question is if your pet could talk, what do you
Mm.
think they would say?
Ooh, this
Like,
girl is strict. I am so strict on him because he's a King Corso and they have like a lot of attitude. So you really have to be like a strong disciplinarian in
mhm,
order to handle a dog like that.
yeah.
So that's definitely what he would say. This girl is strict.
I always think of like feed me. I want to go outside, stuff like that, like basic stuff. But yeah,
Mm,
I understand that too because we can pet owners can be very strict on, like you said, it's your baby, so you want to make sure
yeah.
they're all good. All right. If you could take one prop from any movie set, what would it be?
Okay. Wow, what's my favorite movie? My favorite movie is Ratatouille. And I think if I could take anything from that set, it would probably be that soup that Ratatouille cooked in the beginning of the film, or the rat cooked in the beginning of the film, just to see how it tastes because it was such a big hit in the movie.
That's interesting. Usually people are
Yeah,
like, I wanna steal like the jetpack from this movie. I want to steal these shoes, but you said the soup. I like
and
that.
yeah, I love to eat, and I love that movie. Like, so yeah.
All right,
Mhm.
this is the last question. So, would you rather? Would you rather have every traffic light turn green or always have the best parking spot?
Always have the best parking spot. Yeah, always have these skippies. That's priceless. That is priceless. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like that was a good question to ask because I always hear
Yeah.
the horror stories like, man, I got towed, or like you parked in the wrong spot, you got towed, or like people just can't find parking, they're late for class.
Yes.
So I feel like that was really relevant for this.
Yeah. I've never gotten told, thank God, but ooh. And then to get tickets that aren't even your fault is kind of crazy too. I've had a dispute like two. It's just
hmm
ridiculous.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
appreciate you for participating in the icebreaker.
Mhm.
Get the blood flowing, get the laughs in. And I
Yeah.
told you this before the interview. Like we were supposed to catch up originally, like back in like March or April of this year, because you were going to DR, I was going to Puerto Rico. We were like, yeah, let's catch up when we get back. But we never caught up.
Literally. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Man, this is my excuse to catching up with people, and this will be a good time. We're going to talk about travel in this, but first things first, like, where you from? Where I know you go to FAMU. Well, you mentioned it, you go to FAMU, but like, where you from? What are you studying? What's your classification?
Alrighty, so I am originally from Boynton Beach, Florida. It's about an hour north of Miami for those that aren't familiar. I am studying nursing and I'm a senior going into my last semester of nursing school for the spring. So I'm excited for that.
Congratulations. Early congratulations. I say early happy birthday, early congratulations.
Thank
So,
you.
really big accomplishment. So how are you feeling going into this last semester?
I'm feeling like this is pretty much the finish line, but I still have a lot more to do, if that makes sense.
hmm
Nursing is just a profession. They don't really tell you this for whatever reason, like up front, but it's a profession where you never stop learning even after you graduate.
hmm
We have another test we have to take after we graduate. I've been in job positions where you would literally have to take a test at orientation on certain things. So it's something that you just you never are sitting still for. You always have to learn. So that's kind of what I'm just getting to that mode for, like preparing to graduate, but also preparing for jobs and the NCLEX, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
Got you.
Top of the classes that we have to take. So yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so outside of everything, are you involved on campus? Like, what do you do outside of classes and whatnot?
Yeah. So I am the president of the Student Nurses Association, and they are texting right now. So let me just mute them really fast. Hold on. Oh gosh. Okay. I'm the president of the Student Nurses Association on campus, and I love them. I love the first and second semester students, as well as the fourth semesters and the third semesters that participate. And then even some of the pre-nursing students, we volunteer. Majority of the time on Mondays at the Ronald McDonald House. And that's a very great initiative because it allows us to take care of mothers who have babies in the NICU, which is the neonatal intensive care unit at TMH or even at HCA. But it's a great opportunity to see how it's like to take care of a patient that is out of the hospital while they're dealing with the strain of having a child in the ICU. So that was a great experience. It always feels good to help people. So that was something that I loved. Well, I definitely wanted to bring to the organization. And I'm glad that we did. Some other things we participated in was a toy drive. Um, we were invited by a couple of other organizations to do. So that was exciting. And then we also had like study sessions for finals week, which went great. We passed out badge drills. And then a student that is in the organization, she actually gave me a cute card and like a gift card to go along with it, just to say how much she appreciates what we've been doing for SNA this semester. I joined SNA my freshman year in the spring. When I joined, it wasn't really much going on. It was just it was very laid back. But when I decided to become president, I wanted to make it something that was like a fully functional club, like every other club on campus that we see. Nursing is a very busy major, so I don't expect it to be as active as something like BBLB or any other type of organizations like that. But my goal is to at least have it functioning as a club. So like we have events and members feel included and members feel like they're getting their money's worth because we do pay dues, et cetera, et cetera. So that's one of the things. Sorry, I'm really passionate about the
No,
organization.
you're good. That's what this is about.
Um,
Go
and,
ahead.
and then I'm also in the Society for Financial Education and Professional Development as a student ambassador. And so essentially we teach financial literacy to students across campus, to the Tallahassee community, and even to outside of Tallahassee. We went to Orlando during a classic to teach financial literacy to the local high school students there. And that was a great opportunity just to see them and how they interpreted the information. Some of them were first generation graduate, well, seniors going into college. And so that was very nice to just see them get this knowledge for the first time and be able to implement it in their own lives, however they see fit. But yeah, I feel like I'm missing something. I'm like always doing something, but yeah, let me think.
That's,
I don't know. I think that's it. Hopefully, I don't forget anything. But those are like the two biggest things that take up my time. I'm also working at the HCA hospital in Tallahassee, formerly known as Capital Regional. I am a nurse extern there. I just got that job, so I'm excited to start soon. And yeah, those are some of the things that I do.
that's a very very well-rounded person. Did you intend on joining these organizations when you got on campus? Or did you, well, we'll start there. Did you intend on joining these organizations when you got on campus?
Um, no, I didn't honestly know anything about what was going on at FAMU. I'm a first generation college student, so when I walked on campus, I was just jumping head first. I didn't know what I was getting into. When I was in high school, I moved around a little bit. I didn't really make school my focus because it was so much going on outside of school that I just didn't really um it just wasn't number one in my life for whatever reason. So when I
Mm.
got to fam, I decided to like transition and like really take advantage of everything. So I joined a lot of Bible study groups. That's another thing I'm involved in, a few Bible study groups on campus. And then I was also involved with housing and all of these great organizations because I just wanted to see what everything had to offer.
That's what's up. And what made you pursue nursing?
Honestly, my dad would do this thing where like we would dress up for Halloween as like things like nurses and stuff. Um, and so I feel like that just kind of like stayed in the back of my mind. I'm first gen, so nobody's in the medical field of my family. Um, and yeah, it was just something that was there, and I wanted also financial stability after I graduated. So I was saying to myself, let me go into nursing so I can at least have a job after I graduate. And yeah, I didn't know anything about what it took to be a nurse, but um when I was in high school, I did get involved into like the medical programs there, where you can just learn about being EMT, etc. And so I volunteered at the hospitals, and I thought that was really cool. But yeah.
That's cool. And how do you balance the academic workload, clinical hours, even self-care while you're in school? Because every time I saw you were in the middle of something, you were going somewhere, you had to go to work, you had to go to class, and then I always saw you in the library. A lot of nurse students I saw in the library, but how do you balance it all?
Um, Honestly, even now, I still struggle at times. I really believe it's just God and ambition and tenacity that gets me through. And I say that because it is a lot of me having to tell myself, look, you want to do this, you have to do this. So you're going to make a time for it. Time management is everything too. But I would say, yeah, just praying about it, but also making sure that you have your schedules aligned for the week. Staying organized that way. I put everything in my notes on my phone, just so I can at least get that done, or keep track of what I'm doing. And so that helps as well.
Do your classmates, do you guys keep each other accountable?
Yeah. So I'm in like my little study group is called Sisters in Christ. And so we named ourselves that because not only do we study together, but we always talk about God together. And we go to church together. And then we'll go to Bible studies together off campus. So yeah, we definitely hold each other accountable outside of studying. Just going to church is some of the things that we also hold each other to. And then also like exhibiting the fruits of the spirit. If I'm not right about something, they're gonna tell me, and vice versa. So yeah, I appreciate them.
That's good. You're all growing. What very well rounded, I will say, 'cause academically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, because the academic workload, any major is not the easiest when you're in college, university, and whatnot. But
Right.
were there any roadblocks you hit during your, no, I'll say your first year? Were there any roadblocks you hit?
Yes, my first year of college, oh, I was struggling because when I came into college that summer, I was kicked out of my parents' home. Um, and so I graduated high school. I got kicked out. I graduated high school because my graduation was literally the next week. I stayed with my sister for the summer. I got a job, and I didn't even know if I was gonna make it to FAMU. So I was like, okay, um, let me see how I'm gonna get to Tallahassee, and then also have the supplies that I needed. Um, and God worked it out um, along with some family, and I made it. Um, and from there, it was more so of me just trying to financially support myself on top of school and figuring out how I'm gonna pay my tuition and all that. So that was a little stressful. I sold snacks because I signed up for food stamps. Um, And so I had so much left over that I still had enough to pay for snacks. So I would sell the rest of it. I did hair, locks, twists, whatever braids. And I could still do hair, but I decided to stop. It was just too taxing. But yeah. And yeah, I would just study as much as I could, but that was like the bulk of my first year. And then I was also involved in like housing, little things like that. And yeah.
What about, second year, third year, and whatnot? Do you have like a timeline to like certain roadblocks that really just stuck with you while you were in school?
Yeah, I think honestly, looking back, the hardest part about my second and third year is being in a relationship that was not for me. And I feel like it held me back in so many ways. Um, yeah, but other than that, I would say my biggest issue probably was just finding the right friend group. So prior to nursing school, I didn't really have a solid friend group that I could call like the one that I do well that I have now called Sisters in Christ. I didn't have that before. So I wasn't so entrenched in my relationship with God as I am now. So back then I was like, okay, what's the proper friend group? Like the friends that I had, they were great and I still keep in contact with them. But the things that we were doing just didn't align with what I wanted for my life. So a lot of that was just trying to figure that out and navigate that. But yeah.
Got you. And then one thing I always remember about you is like you always smiled, you always were so positive whenever you saw people, even if you had all that stress behind you. Like what was like keeping you happy and like having making you motivate to like put on a smile whenever you're out in public?
Right. I would say I would say it's honestly muscle memory. So when I was younger, we would be going through a lot in my family. And so we were still expected to look a certain way, to act a certain way. Even within our own household, in order to just avoid drama and all the unnecessary stuff. Um, and so honestly, I feel like that's probably a trauma response, just the fact that I do have a smile on my face all the time. But I can say now that it is a lot more genuine because of my relationship with God. So in the past, it would just be like kind of like a mask. Like, yeah, I can just turn it on and turn it off. Like that's it's nothing to do that. But I don't know. I think now I'm in a space where I know I don't have to do that anymore. And so I've been able to find some type of genuine comfort in order to have a genuine smile on my face, and then really not have to do it or not feel like I have to do it for other people. I'm actually doing it for me because that's how I feel. So in the past, it would just be like muscle memory, but now it's actually something that I'm able to do without feeling like it's for other people, basically.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear. You really sound like you had a lot of growth throughout
Yeah.
undergrad.
Yeah.
And that's really good to hear because a lot of people are that I come across, they're kind of stuck in their first year, second year ways, but you were like, I don't want to stay in this mentality forever, so you just grew.
Yeah.
And who knows, some of the growth was unintentional too. So
Yeah.
I'm really glad you found your niche of people, both
Thank
in school, inside of school, and outside of school. So I'm really glad to hear that.
you.
What's advice you would give to someone who's considering pursuing the field of nursing?
Mm. Don't think that what you do or what you're studying doesn't matter. For whatever reason on TikTok, they have this thing where it's like, oh yeah, like you learn everything once you get in a hospital and work. Everything you're learning in nursing school isn't important. That is a lie. Also, don't go off of what you see on TikTok when it comes to nursing. Really like get into the field as soon as possible. Work in a hospital as soon as possible, especially if you grew up not really visiting the hospital or you just don't know a lot about the medical field. Do that as soon as possible because it's a whole different world. Um, Studying is important. So if you don't have those study habits now, you're going to struggle. Unfortunately, I would say also, yeah, I think the biggest thing is just getting hands-on experience. Um, and also, if anybody plans to go to family nursing or family school of nursing, I would say have your values in place to where you understand the standard that you're holding yourself to, um, because you don't want to get caught up trying to or caught up in bad habits that the people around you may be doing. Um, and if you know you should want to hold yourself to a higher standard is what I'm trying to say, because a lot of people won't, and that's not saying like it's people in the cohort, but really in the organization as a whole. Unfortunately, like we're HBCU, we're severely underfunded, so the program isn't perfect, but in order to leave as the best nurse you can be, hold yourself to a certain standard, and then also one that's like exceptional, and then also figure out what other organizations are doing so that you can keep up and you won't feel behind once you're in the field.
Got you. And I completely skipped over this question, but what experience have you had in undergrad with nursing?
Um, my I'll say my most memorable experience was me going to Houston for an internship over the summer. That was a great experience. It was a paid internship. They provided housing. I met a lot of great people. The hospital is called Houston Methodist Hospital. Is the number one hospital in Texas, um, and that's huge. It's right at the center of the medical center. And the medical center, for people who aren't familiar, is just a network of really big hospitals, um, really at the center of Houston or close to the center of Houston. The number one research cancer hospital in the world is right there. And so, with that type of reputation, every hospital around it is very much prestigious. And so, that was a very good opportunity for me to see that firsthand. I feel like it really raised the bar for me as far as what it takes to be an excellent nurse. And so, I really appreciated that experience.
Got you. And then closing out for the section of nursing experience while you're still in school. I remember, I think it was either earlier this year or late last year, you started documenting your nursing journey. What was your motivation behind that? Because I think that's really good to have, especially as you approach, senior year and entering your career. Like, what
Yeah.
motivated you to start documenting your journey?
I wanted to document mostly because I was already doing it on LinkedIn. So I was like, why not bring it to Instagram? And then I saw some of the other nursing students, like my friend Jada Strange, she has her own page. My friend Amanda Gooden, she had her own page. So I saw what they were doing. I said, well, that's a great idea. So I decided to do it. Um, for me, mostly just to show that I'm doing other things. In the past, I used to have all of the stuff that I was doing, oops, on campus. And so I would, sorry, my sister called me. So
You're good.
I would have them, I would have them all on my page. And so I felt like it was a mix of personal and business, but I prefer to have that separate. So I thought it was a great idea to do that from a page.
Got you. I think your camera shut off.
Oh,
There we go.
gotcha. Okay.
There we go. Um, well, another follow-up question about the nursing. Do you ever look back on your Instagram page, like when you first started posting, and then now to see really how far you came, and like think like, dang, I really did
Mhm.
all this.
Not necessarily, mostly because I feel like I have so much to do, even still. I feel like I'm very early on when it comes to like what I want to do, even outside of nursing. So I'm not there yet. Um, but one day I'll hope to be. One day I hope to be.
Got you. The journey is very long and very bright for you. That's all I'll say.
Thank
But
you.
oh yeah, no problem. That's
I
all I say
appreciate
to
that.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said that to a lot of freshman engineers too that I would meet because they always feel discouraged, or some would feel, I don't want to say always and generalize them, but some people just feel discouraged about applying for internships or getting involved on campus and being
Yeah.
successful with it. And I'm like, you just got to be patient. The time will come. You just got to be patient with it and like stay grounded. Remember your why for, your purpose of doing these actions and whatnot.
That's so
So,
true.
yeah. And like I mentioned earlier, you did a little bit of traveling this year.
Mhm.
So, Where'd you travel all throughout 2024?
Oof, okay. Um, let's think. So it was a little bit of traveling. I was able to go to the Dominican Republic, which was so much fun. Me and my friends, we went to celebrate one of their birthdays. And we ended up meeting some other friends there that I didn't even know was gonna be there. But she had texted me and was like, "You're in Dominican Republic," and I'm like, "Yeah, girl, what you doing here?" And so we ended up going out together, so that was fun. And then we ended up having a layover in Puerto Rico, which was really nice to see. Um, and then we also went to Orlando. I feel like I was in Orlando a couple times this year, but we were in Orlando. We went to Animal Kingdom. That was a great experience. And then I did go to Houston for 3 months. That was an amazing experience. I love Houston. I can't wait to go back. I actually want to move there after I graduate. I joined a church there. It was a beautiful church. And so I got to meet amazing people that genuinely want to see FAMU students succeed. I joined a run club, and then I also made other nursing friends. The run club, I will say, was like a black run club, so it was nothing but African American people, and so it definitely felt like family. Like it was so much fun. It felt like a mini HBCU. Um, and so that's one of the things that I'm excited to go back to because it was also something I've never done before. I started off in a 2 miles section, so I ran 2 miles and I saw myself progressively get better. So that was always fun. Um, and then again, meeting my friends and stuff like that. And so after Houston, I was there from like May to August. I went back home and then for like a day, and I went to Atlanta for a conference. It was called a Conference for African American Financial Professionals. I got to ask the great Dawn Staley a question. I haven't even posted that on my Instagram or anything. You see what I mean? Like I haven't even, it's so much I haven't done. I haven't posted, but I got to ask her a really great question and she was very responsive to it. And she inspired me. And so that was a great experience overall. I got to meet a lot of people in the financial services sector or industry. And I learned a lot from them as a nursing student. And then so that was August, came back to Tallahassee, started school, went to Orlando to the classic again. And yeah, hopefully I'm not missing anything. But yeah, it was a very fun year, I will say. Very fun year.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it sounds like very memorable destinations you visited. Now,
Yeah.
which one was your favorite though?
Houston.
Houston?
Hands down. I think Houston, even besides like the people, I'll say the food was the best part. I ate good all summer, and I can only attribute that to like my adoptive aunts, to which I call them. They're friends and family of my dad, and so they really took me under their wings. They fed me, they treated me like family, and they took me out to all these restaurants and places. And so that was so much fun. I loved it.
Yeah, so all the travel places you mentioned, vacation, you mentioned internship, you mentioned conference.
Mhm.
How have all these travel experiences influenced your personal growth?
Oh, it shows me constantly that there is always more than your environment. Like I haven't traveled this much ever before, and um I don't see myself not traveling. You know what I mean? Like it's something I love now. Getting on a plane and going through TSA is probably the most annoying part. But just like getting out and meeting new people like constantly, seeing their point of views, getting able to see people that are black like me but have a different background. I love it. It's actually very fun.
That's good. That's good. And one thing I noticed about trips that I went on whenever I travel, especially when I went to Puerto Rico for spring break,
Yeah.
um, it helped clear a mental block that I had finishing the semester. It was like a little mental reset. Did you feel that when we'll start with Dominican Republic. Did you feel
Right.
that mental reset when you traveled there?
Yes. It motivated me when I came back to the States to just really appreciate what I have and then be thankful that the things that I've done, the people that I've met had led me up to do amazing things like go to Dominican Republic and go to Houston and stuff. Like it made me appreciate the work that I had put in that semester as well as, my prior college experience. So that's the kind of reset that it gave me. Just validated that, I'm going in the right direction for sure.
That's what's up. With the at the time it's recording, the holidays are coming up. Do you plan
Mhm.
on doing any more traveling before spring semester starts?
We shall see. We shall see. Never know. You never know. We shall see. I can't say now, but we'll see. But I know for sure I want to start off the new year right. So the church that my friend goes to and that I visit every so often is having a conference in Orlando. And so I'll be there from the first to the third and just to start my year off right, talking about Jesus and everything. But we'll see in this month. We'll see.
Got you. Got
Yeah.
you. And I feel like that's a good transition because you're talking about the conference happening in Orlando. Now we're going to talk about something that's very near and dear. You always brought it up every time we talked, or even in your posts, your
Yeah.
relationship with God.
Yeah.
How has it evolved over the years?
I feel like honestly, when I was younger, it was something that we all just kind of did, but it didn't really register, not only because I was young, but because I didn't understand the power of God. I had adults that would go to church and stuff, but they wouldn't really emphasize how he moved in their life outside of church. He wasn't a part of their daily, or at least what it looked like to me. He wasn't part of their daily life. Um, and so growing up, it was like, I have all this violence and all this yelling and all this extra stuff going on, but then you're going to church, so it's like, is what are we really doing? Like, is God just somebody to call on and then to never speak to again? He's just around, like, so that's what it felt like when I was younger. But then I got to high school. I feel like I treated him like that until college, honestly. I knew there were things that I just wouldn't do. Drinking was one of them. I really stood firm in that when I got to college, mostly because I knew what that could lead to. Um, so yeah, so I at least tried my first couple years, but I didn't get really deep into it until probably like after my junior year. Yeah, for sure. After my junior year of college, that's when I really decided to go all in. From August 2023 to December is when I got baptized on my birthday. So it'll be a year on the 17th. Um, and so, yeah, that's pretty much how my life has been with God. Just a series of ebbs and flows. And then now I'm really like locked in.
That's what's up. Yeah, I can also answer the question too because I feel like I can relate in a way of like taking it more seriously as time went on. So I got baptized back in September 2020 or August 2020. I might have to look back at my certificate to date check myself or fact check
Yeah.
myself, but it's funny because I say it's funny, but it's crazy how God moves in our lives and whatnot. Because I remember 2 weeks after, so I was still at community college at the time before I transferred to FAMU, and 2 weeks after I got baptized, that's when I got my acceptance letter to FAMU, and I also got my acceptance letter to North Carolina A&T,
Mhm.
and everything was just falling into place, and I was like, is this what it's been like the whole? This is what I'm missing out on?
Yeah.
Because of course, like I grew up going to church and whatnot, but no, I didn't really see. I didn't see more of the value till I got older. So that's the maturity in me. So like everything just started falling into place. And then after that, that's when I got the FAMU. That's when all the good stuff started happening. Well, I'm gonna say not the good stuff because 2020 was everything shut down. That's when life started picking back up.
Yeah.
Just had to be patient. Internships, meeting great people like yourself and many other people, countless number of people who watch this podcast and people I still talk to on a daily basis. It was
Yeah.
just a lot of great accomplishments and great energy that came into my life around the time. So yeah, it's great. That's all I'm gonna say. I think my friend on one of the previous episodes, she's like, God's a great guy. He's a big guy. He does things in mysterious ways that you never would understand. And I
Yeah,
choose not to question it because I know everything we do is within His will, and then everything will work out in the end. But
yeah.
in what way, you kind of mentioned this earlier, in what ways do you feel God's presence in your daily life?
When I read my Bible, when I pray, when I journal, when I read my devotion, my devotional book. Honestly, but I feel him most when I'm just in a space where I don't know what to do next, which is a really like a daily occurrence. Like we are given these days to do what we want to do, but I know that one wrong move can just take you off the trajectory of what God's will is for you. That's one thing that I take seriously. Just because for like a year or two, like at least 2 years, I was going down a path that wasn't in his will. And I feel like the consequence of that was more so like just a lot of heartache. And I decided I never want to do that again. So I intentionally am like throughout the day, like listening to gospel music, thinking about what would God want me to do, and then just spending at least a little bit of time with Him, just to figure out if I'm actually where He wants me to be, or just trying to stay in tune with Him some kind of way, because it can be really difficult to live life without His guidance, at least for me.
Got you. And how do you maintain spiritual discipline amidst of the busyness of life? You did mention, your people you study with. I can't remember the name of it. It said sisters and
Yes, sisters in Christ. Yeah.
sisters in Christ. You mentioned that. You mentioned going to church and whatnot. But are there any other ways you like maintain your discipline? Like whenever stuff gets hard, and you're like, man, I can't go to this Bible study. I can't go to church. Like, how do you maintain? I don't know how else to word it, but like, how do you maintain it? Your motivation,
You
discipline.
for me, it's like making it a priority over everything. Like, I'm going to Bible studies the day before, the night before a test that I was unsure about, but I passed and I had faith. Um, and I don't have any regrets. Like you'll never regret putting God first. So it's just about really just prioritizing Him. Really. I've been doing this new thing where I'm trying not to miss church at all, like every week. I've been doing that since September, and I've been doing pretty well. So, and it's made a difference in my life. Just adding that discipline aspect to it. So, I would say, yeah, just doing things like that, just making sure you're making it a priority. That's the biggest thing.
Got you. Yeah, one thing that I kind of struggle with is making sure I get my daily prayer in. Whether I already pray, like before I eat my food and whatnot, but like like a general prayer, for the day, the week, the month, or
Yeah.
whatever you're going through. So one thing that's been helping me is when Instagram introduced channels and whatnot. There's like this one channel where they send like a prayer for the morning and then like a scripture at the end. Then my grandmother, I know she's watching this, but she's gonna be watching this, but she sends scriptures in the morning too. And yeah, that's what keeps my discipline and kind of reminds me like, someone's helping me move to these next steps in my life in certain ways and whatnot. So I think that definitely helped me out a lot. And of
That's
course,
good.
like praying before I eat, that was something I always did when I was younger.
Yeah.
Anything, even if it was a snack. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, even if it's just a little snack, like a bag of chips or whatnot. So, you know what I'm saying? I always do that. But I'm trying to figure out where else to go from here because you answered most of the questions I have listed on here throughout the interview. But are there any specific prayers or scriptures that you have particular meaning to you, meaning have been meaningful to you as of late?
Okay. My favorite scripture is Psalms 5, verse 11 through 12. I have it written right here. So I keep all my scriptures that I feel like I'm definitely going to need right in front of me on my desk. That's something I started just to get my mind back on track when I'm studying, etc. But that one says, "But let all who take refuge in you celebrate. Let them sing out loud forever. Protect them so that all who love your name can rejoice in you. Because you, Lord, bless the righteous. You cover them with favor like a shield." That's definitely one of my favorites. And then Lamentations, chapter 3, verse 28 through 30, MSG version says, when life is heavy and hard to take, go off by yourself into the silence, bow in prayer. Don't ask questions, wait for hope to appear. Don't run from trouble, take it full face. The worst is never the worst. And so that one sticks with me. Right now I'm reading Psalms. I just finished chapter 50. Um, and so I feel like Psalms is just a good mixture of everything. Mostly because I feel like every psalm it talks about the same things, but it's not just one story, or at least that's what I get from it. It's more of like this is how I feel today, this is what I'm talking about today. Um, but they all have the same theme. So I'll even give you something
Mm.
from what I read today or yesterday. We'll say yesterday. So it says, my mouth speaks wisdom, my heart's meditation is full of sight. I will pay close attention to a proverb, I will explain my riddle on the lyre. And then it goes on to say, why should I be afraid in times of trouble when the wrongdoing of my bullies engulf me? Those people who trust in their fortunes and boast of their fantastic wealth, it can't save a single person. It can't pay a life's ransom, price to God. The price to save someone's life is too high. Wealth will never be enough. No one can live forever without experiencing the pit. So that's just one thing that I got from Psalms 49. But yeah, those are just really great scriptures. I feel like if I had to pick a favorite, those first two I read would be my favorites. But there's so many great ones.
That's what's up. Yeah,
Yeah.
over the weekend I was doing like a mini self Bible study. Just me and my Bible. And I came across this one scripture in Thessalonians. So it's Thessalonians chapter 3 verse 12. It said, "May the Lord make your love increase and overflow." I gotta read off this on my iPad. I couldn't remember off the top of my head, but it says, "May the Lord make your love increase and overflow for each other and for everyone else, just as ours does for you." And it kind of thinks reminds me of like, first off, doing this podcast, this is me caring. I have a big heart. I want to make sure everybody feels the love and appreciation,
Yeah.
and know that they're recognized and seen. So I want to make sure it's poured out to them as like person watching this, poured out to you and whoever else they share it with and whatnot. So I just want to make sure the love and positivity spreads throughout, as much as I can reach to. So that's why it kind of stuck out to me. And I know it people pour their love into me, so I want to make sure I'm pouring it right back out because not everybody gets that. Everybody has that same experience with experience, like I said experience
Yeah.
3 times. Gets that
No, I know.
experience with getting love and whatnot, positivity, or even just like something simple as, you're doing good today. Not everybody always gets that every day. So I always get it. So I want to make sure people got it too. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's great.
Yeah. But I don't have any more questions listed on here. Were there any closing remarks you'd want to share with the viewers watching this?
Um, Honestly, Lamentations, I would encourage y'all to just go into Lamentations chapter 3, verse 28 through 30, the MSG version. That is what I really hold firm when I'm really struggling. Um, for me, when I'm struggling, I tend to like my first thought for whatever reason isn't to go to these specific verses, it's to pray. So like I'm a very informal prayer, but I encourage you to like talk to God like he's your best friend. Talk to him like you're actively having a conversation. Journaling is like very much key, is key to like opening those lines of communication with him. So I encourage y'all to just really like connect with him, and just stand firm in your faith. That's my closing remark.
That's what's up. Well,
Yeah.
Samaya, it's always great talking to you. I wish you the best of luck for your final semester at FAMU. Go Rattlers.
Thank you.
It'll be busy, but I will say you will enjoy these moments because you might not see these same people again, like post graduation. Relationships will evolve and change, but just cherish the moments. That's all I can say.
Thank you. And Rod, I want to say you're doing a great job. I'm excited for your future. I can't wait until you really put your boots on the ground and really get to the goals that you're trying to reach. Because I know they're very big goals, and I'm very proud of you because you're working towards them actively. I see it every day.
I appreciate you, and I give you your flowers about your nursing page. I was like, don't make sure you know your work doesn't get overlooked. So I appreciate you. Just wanted to reflect it back. So
Thank
yeah, appreciate
I appreciate it.
it. Yeah, it's only up from here. That's all I can say.
Yes,
But
for both of us.
yeah, so yeah, I don't have anything else to say. So closing out, thank you for well, once again, thank you again, Samaya. Thank you to the person watching this. If you enjoyed the content of this video, like, comment, subscribe, and share with a friend who may find who either going to nursing school or just wants to, redefine their purpose when they're with their walk with God and whatnot. So, just enjoy it. Nothing else to say. I always trip on my words when I'm closing this thing out. But until next time, I hope to see you in the next episode and enjoy the rest of your day.
Alrighty, you too.